Hi, I'm Allie Roosh, one of the pastors here at Hopewell, and today we're celebrating Christ as King. Hear these words from the Gospel of John, chapter 18, verses 33 through 38. Then Pilate entered the headquarters again, summoned Jesus, and asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answered, "Do you ask this on your own, or did others tell you about me?" Pilate replied, "I'm not a Jew, am I? Your own nation and the chief priests have handed you over to me. What have you done?" Jesus answered, "My kingdom does not belong of this world. If my kingdom belonged of this world, my followers would be fighting to keep me from being handed over to the Jews. But as it is, my kingdom is not from here." Pilate asked him, "So you are a king?" Jesus answered, "You say that I'm a king. For this I was born, and this I came into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice." Pilate asked him, "What is truth?" After he said this, he went out to the Jews again and told them, "I find no case against him." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. In my seemingly endless social media scrolling, I recently came across a video about the mirror test. Did your algorithm serve it to you too? I think I was the perfect audience for this type of video because it was the intersection of cute babies and childhood development education. Mostly the cute babies. In this video, they place a sticker or a mark on the forehead of a baby or toddler and then hold them in front of the mirror. If the baby reaches for the mark or sticker when seeing it in the mirror, we know that they recognize that as themselves looking back. If they don't touch their head, they haven't made that connection yet. As it turns out, this study didn't start as an internet trend for cute babies. It originated as a scientific study developed by Gordon Gallup Jr. in the 1970s. This study focused on animals to see if they could achieve self-awareness. And interestingly, a few animals passed. Any guesses as to which ones? Elephants, dolphins, great apes, and some birds have achieved this self-recognition. But now there is controversy about this method being used on animals at all. Which makes sense to me. After all, how does a dolphin touch its forehead? This method remains credible for humans, and telling you about it is not nearly as fun as seeing it in person. So I set up an experiment to see what the nursery kids would do. Take a look at this video.
Look in the mirror.
No.
In the nursery experiment, some babies immediately recognized themselves in the mirror, while others stared at their reflection without understanding. That moment of recognition, or lack of it, is more than a developmental milestone. It's a reminder of how difficult it can be to truly see ourselves, to recognize what's right in front of us. It's not just about recognizing ourselves, it's about recognizing the truth. And nowhere is this struggle more vividly displayed than in John 18, where Pilate stands face to face with Jesus. Here is Jesus, who has spent years pouring himself out in ministry, healing the sick, feeding the hungry, preaching love, and offering hope to the hopeless. And now he stands betrayed by one of his own disciples, arrested by his own people, and brought before the Roman governor, Pilate, for judgment. Jesus is caught between two worlds. Jewish leaders demanding justice on their terms, and a Roman governor reluctant to involve himself. The religious leaders are desperate to protect their traditions, careful to remain ritually pure for the Passover, yet blind to the deeper irony. They're calling for the death of the true Passover lamb, the one who will be sacrificed for their forgiveness. Pilate, the Roman governor, steps into this tense moment, his authority tested by the demands of the crowd and his own uncertainty. He knows there's no crime here, yet the pressure mounts. Knowing something and acting on it are two different things. Jesus stands blameless, yet Pilate, looking directly at him, can't seem to comprehend who's staring back and what he's going to do about it. "Are you the king of the Jews?" Pilate asks. But Jesus does what Jesus does and answers back with a question. "Is that your own idea, or did others talk to you about me?" Jesus' words to Pilate are more than a clever response. They're a mirror. With this single question, Jesus magnifies Pilate's internal struggle. Pilate, who is used to being in control, is now wrestling with forces he cannot command. His conscience, the demands of his position, the expectations of the crowd, and the strange presence of Jesus standing before him. Jesus' gaze pierces through the layers of complexity, recognizing that these chains bind Pilate just as much as the ones binding his own wrists. In asking Pilate to consider where this question comes from, Jesus offers an invitation to step away from the roles he's been performing, to quiet the noise of the voices shaping him, and to examine his own heart and beliefs. Jesus invites Pilate to see himself as he truly is, a man who's vulnerable, uncertain, and in this moment, fully seen. He also invites Pilate to see Jesus as he truly is. This moment could change everything, but only if Pilate is willing to look deeper. But Pilate presses on, and Jesus responds not with defense, but with revelation. He speaks of a kingdom that exists beyond Rome's reach, a kingdom not of this world. For Pilate, power and kingship are tangible. Soldiers, swords, laws, and the fear they instill. Yet here is a man who speaks of power in terms of truth and love. Pilate presses further, his tone edged with frustration or maybe desperation, and he asks, "So are you a king?" Jesus responds, again, not with a direct answer, but with a declaration of purpose. "You say that I'm a king. For this I was born, and this I came into the world, to testify to the truth." At this moment, Jesus isn't merely addressing Pilate's question. He's revealing the heart of his mission. His kingship is not defined by earthly power or authority. It's about truth, the unshakable truth of God's love and justice. This is a kingdom unlike any other, a kingdom where power is found in humility, where victory comes through sacrifice, and where truth is a force of freedom. Pilate still doesn't get it. And in trying to understand, he asks a question that can strike a chord with all of us. What is truth? The irony is profound. Standing before him is Jesus, the way, the truth, and the life, yet Pilate seems unable or unwilling to see him for who he truly is. And sometimes we fail at that too. We live in a world where the image of Jesus is sometimes distorted, like looking in a funhouse mirror, shaped to fit various agendas or to keep us comfortable. These versions of Jesus are often crafted to affirm certain beliefs, to justify particular actions, or to keep us feeling like we are right. But the Jesus of the Bible, the King of truth, doesn't conform to our expectations or bend to our preferences. His truth calls us to look inward and beyond ourselves, to align with His kingdom and to follow a path that often challenges our assumptions about faith, power, and love. So as we encounter Jesus, we are invited to recognize Him not as we might want Him to be, but as He truly is. Jesus doesn't call us to follow a reflection of ourselves, but to follow Him, the King of truth, whose kingdom is one of love, justice, and grace. A kingdom where we're known, challenged, and transformed. Today, as we celebrate Christ the King Sunday, we too are invited to look at Jesus as He truly is, the King of a kingdom not of this world. Christ the King Sunday reminds us of the truth that we so often forget. Our first and ultimate allegiance is to Jesus Christ. His kingdom is bigger than any border, broader than any ideology, and deeper than any earthly agenda. His reign challenges systems that elevate power, wealth, or control over love, truth, and grace. When we see Jesus as He truly is, we are given the same choice Pilate had. We get to look at Jesus and see the truth staring back and decide, do we crown Jesus as King of our lives? Do we? Crown Him with the cries of the crowd who once shouted, "Hosanna," as He entered Jerusalem before their voices turned to crucify Him. Crown Him with a crown of thorns meant to mock, but instead declare a greater truth. This is a King who carries our burdens, who suffers for our sake, and who reigns not through conquest, but through self-giving love. Crown Him with devotion, not just in word, but in the surrender of our hearts to the one who gave His life for us all. Crown Him the King of all creation, the one who spoke light into existence, who shaped the heavens and the earth, who holds it all together. Crown Him the King of the cross, the one who bore the weight of sin and shame, who embraced the punishment we deserved, and who turned death into a doorway of life. Crown Him the King of resurrection, the one who stepped out of the tomb in victory, who declared that no darkness, no empire, no enemy, not even death itself could defeat Him. Crown Him, because He's worthy of all glory, honor, and praise. Crown Him, because His kingdom is unshakable and His mercy knows no end. Crown Him, because His love is relentless, His grace is sufficient, and His truth is clarifying. Crowning Him is a choice we make over and over again. Like the babies in the nursery and like Pilate before Jesus, we all face moments where we're invited to truly see. To see ourselves as we are, to see Jesus for who He is, and to recognize the truth staring back at us. But recognition alone isn't enough. It demands a response. Pilate looked into the eyes of truth and walked away, trapped by fear and expectations of the world. What will we do when we look into the mirror of Jesus' truth? Every time we see our reflection this week, let it be a reminder of this choice. Ask yourself, how can I crown Christ as King right now? Not just with words, but actions. And then we make those choices that shine God's kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. Maybe it's choosing to speak the truth where silence feels safer. Maybe it's offering forgiveness where anger feels justified. Maybe it's standing up for someone who needs an advocate, even when it costs us something. Or maybe it's something totally different. In these small, courageous acts, we choose to align with His kingdom, a kingdom not of this world, but one of love, justice, and truth. Christ the King stands before us today, inviting us to recognize Him and respond. May we not miss the moment. May we crown Him as the King of our hearts, our lives, and all creation, with every choice, every word, and every action. May we declare, crown Him, now and forever. Amen.